Costa Rica, a land where clouds cradle mountaintops and rainforest canopies ripple with life, where two oceans breathe on either side and every valley echoes with birdsong. This is a realm shaped by fire and water, volcanoes rising from mist, rivers carving through ancient green. And in its shadows, feathers gleam like jewels awakened by the sun. From the moss-laden peaks of Monteverde to the lowland rainforests of the Osa Peninsula, to coastal mangroves tangled in silent tides, Costa Rica shelters some of the planet's most breathtaking birds. Fiery Scarlet Macaws glide over almond groves. Resplendent Quetzals flicker emerald through the cloud forest. And Keel-billed Toucans laugh from the treetops with citrus-colored beaks. In this journey from BBTV Official, we unveil over 30 species, each one a vivid thread in nature's living tapestry. If this wild beauty speaks to your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more adventures into the feathered wonders of Costa Rica. Long-tailed manakin, Cheiroxipha linearis. In the stillness of Costa Rica's forest understory, a flicker of blue and black flashes through filtered sunlight. This is the long-tailed manakin, Cheiroxipha linearis, a feathered performer whose name, rooted in Greek and Latin, means delicate dancer with a linear tail. Locals call it Toledo, mimicking the crisp bell-like call that rings through the trees like a tiny chime hidden in the foliage. This species thrives on the Pacific slopes of southwestern Costa Rica, from Nicoya Peninsula to the foothills of the Talamanca Range. It favors semi-open tropical forests where light breaks through the canopy, casting spotlight-like patches across mossy branches, the perfect setting for its signature performance. Measuring just 5.5 inches long and weighing under 0.7 ounces, the male is an avian gemstone, deep velvet black with a flame-red crown and electric blue body. Two long, wiry tail feathers trail behind like twin brushstrokes in motion, his instruments in the courtship dance. What sets him apart isn't his beauty alone, but the choreography he shares with another male. As a bonded duo, they execute a synchronized ballet, leaping backward, bowing, twirling, all to impress a single female who will choose just one of them. Their diet centers on berries and forest fruits. With silent precision, they dart among shrubs, pluck ripened fruit mid-flight, and vanish into the canopy like shadows with wings. The female nests alone, weaving a delicate cup of fibers to cradle her eggs. While the males rehearse, she raises the next generation beneath the rustling leaves. Picture this: two flashes of blue and red spinning mid-air, then silence, broken only by a soft Toledo echoing through the trees. A dance ends. The forest exhales. Costa Rican pygmy owl, Glaucidium costarricensis. In the veiled mist of Costa Rica's highland forests, where bromeliads cling to mossy branches and shadows shift with every breeze, a pair of amber eyes keeps silent watch. This is the Costa Rican pygmy owl, Glaucidium costarricensis, a pocket-sized predator whose Latin name hints at its homeland and compact frame. Though no larger than a fist, this owl commands its realm with quiet authority. Endemic to the mountainous spine of Costa Rica, it resides in the cloud forests of the Talamanca Range, from 3,600 to 9,800 feet above sea level. It prefers cool, dense woodlands, where filtered light creates a world of green tunnels and dripping leaves, a hidden theater for an unseen hunter. Measuring around 6.5 inches in length and weighing just 2.5 ounces, this owl is small but stocky. Its chest is streaked with rusty brown, contrasting with a gray crown and piercing golden eyes. On the back of its head, two dark false eyes deter would-be attackers, a clever trick from nature's playbook. Unlike most owls, it's active during the day. Perched motionless, it surveys the undergrowth, then dives in a blur to snatch lizards, insects, or small birds. It hunts with startling speed, launching from low branches like a feathered arrow. When nesting season arrives, it seeks out old woodpecker holes or natural cavities, defending it fiercely from intruders many times their size. Now imagine the forest holding its breath. A rustle, a flash of wings, and then stillness once more. Somewhere above, the tiny sentinel watches on, unseen but ever-present. Fiery-billed aracari, Pteroglossus francii. Like a living brushstroke streaking through the treetops, the fiery-billed aracari ignites the rainforest canopy with color and charisma. Its scientific name, Pteroglossus francii, honors German naturalist Alexander von Francius, fitting, for a bird that seems painted by the hands of a romantic explorer. That searing orange bill isn't just a name, it's a flame cutting through green. This striking toucan thrives along the Pacific slope of southern Costa Rica, particularly in the lush forests of the Golfo Dulce region. It prefers humid lowland and foothill forests, often seen bounding from branch to branch in the highest reaches of the canopy, where fruit dangles like jeweled bait. Measuring about 16 inches in length and weighing roughly 8 ounces, it sports a palate worthy of an artist's envy. Black wings, lemon-yellow breast, scarlet belly band, and that namesake bill, glowing orange with a coal-black edge. Its feathers shimmer in dappled sunlight, but it's the bill that steals the spotlight. Oversized, arched, and surprisingly nimble. Unlike its solitary relatives, this aracari is sociable. It travels in chattering groups, tossing fruit to one another mid-air like a game. Agile and acrobatic, they hang upside down to reach fruit, using that enormous bill like a hooked tool, plucking figs and berries with practiced grace. When nesting season arrives, pairs hollow out old woodpecker holes high above the forest floor. Inside these wooden chambers, they raise up to 3 chicks, with both parents sharing duties and sometimes even aided by helpers, older siblings from previous broods. In the hush of morning, when mists still cling to the trees, a streak of fire leaps from branch to branch. A low, rattling call follows it, wild, vibrant, unforgettable. That's the fiery-billed aracari, a spark in the forest's emerald sea. Black-crested coquette, Lophornis heleni. In the heart of a flower-filled clearing, a glittering speck hovers mid-air, crowned like royalty and glowing like a shard of gemstone. This is the black-crested coquette, Lophornis heleni, a hummingbird so small it seems to flicker between reality and myth. Its name, meaning plumed bird of Helena, evokes elegance, and rightfully so. Few creatures wear such majesty in so small a frame. Native to the humid lowlands and foothills of Costa Rica's Caribbean slope, it frequents forest edges, gardens, and flowering clearings. It's often a blur of motion near blossoming heliconias and vervains, darting like a living spark where nectar is richest. Measuring only 2.7 inches long and weighing just 0.1 ounces, the male defies its size with flamboyance. Its crown rises in a dark, spiked crest like the helmet of a tiny knight, while its sides shimmer with copper and emerald. Wispy cheek plumes sweep backward like strokes of black ink, giving it the look of a tropical, noble mid-duel. In flight, it dances more than it flies, hovering, zipping, pausing with precision. During courtship, males perform arcing displays, flashing their crests and flaring cheek tufts in choreographed bursts of brilliance to catch a female's eye. Its diet is built on nectar, drawn from tubular blooms with surgical accuracy. While feeding, it also snatches minute insects from the air, supplementing energy for its high-octane lifestyle. The nest, no larger than a walnut, is crafted from moss and spider silk, carefully bound to slender branches. There, the female tends her eggs alone, a mother wrapped in motionless patience amid the breeze. Picture a crown of black flames hovering beside a violet blossom. Then, gone. A heartbeat of beauty, vanishing into sunlight. Crowned wood nymph, Talamanca columbica. Where shafts of sunlight pierce the jungle's green curtain, a jewel takes flight, weightless, radiant, alive with color. This is the crowned wood nymph, Talamanca columbica, a name as poetic as its presence. Talamanca draws from Greek roots meaning nurse of the forest, a fitting tribute to a creature that flits like a guardian spirit through blooming shadows. Found along both Caribbean and Pacific slopes of Costa Rica, it thrives in humid tropical forests, coffee plantations, and flowering gardens. Though tiny, it's hard to miss once light catches its feathers, an iridescent flash among the green. Measuring about 4 inches long and weighing just 0.1 ounces, the male is cloaked in shimmering green from head to chest, while his belly and tail blaze violet like tempered steel. A metallic crown glows on his forehead, less a marking, more a spark of light born from feathers. The female, in contrast, wears emerald and white, elegant in her subtlety. Aerial agility defines this species. The male defends nectar-rich shrubs with sudden dives and rapid twists, wings a blur of sound and motion. During courtship, he performs pendulum-like flights before potential mates, trailing light like a comet. Feeding on nectar from a wide range of flowers, the crowned wood nymph hovers with pinpoint control. Between sips, it snatches tiny insects mid-air, protein to fuel a heart that beats over 50 times per second. Its nest resembles a delicate cup woven from moss and lichen, suspended from thin branches. Inside, the female incubates 2 pearl-like eggs, sheltered by leaves and quiet determination. Imagine a glimmer vanishing between leaves, as if the forest exhaled a dream. The crowned wood nymph doesn't just pass through light, it becomes it. Brown-hooded parrot, Pyrrhia hematotis. Among the layered greens of Costa Rica's rainforests, a soft rustle betrays a traveler cloaked in earth and flame. This is the brown-hooded parrot, Pyrrhia hematotis, a name echoing its distinct features. Hematotis, meaning bloodier, for the splash of crimson just below its eye. Not flamboyant, but quietly radiant, it moves like a breeze with feathers. Widespread across the Caribbean slope and into parts of the Pacific foothills, it thrives in humid lowland forests, especially near forest edges and secondary growth. Preferring company, it travels in small flocks, weaving through the high canopy like murmurs passing through the leaves. Reaching about 8.5 inches in length and weighing close to 6 ounces, this parrot wears a hood of chocolate brown over vivid green plumage. That tiny red patch beneath each eye, sharp as a seal, gives the bird an almost ceremonial look, like a masked courtier lost in the forest. Its beauty lies not in brilliance, but in detail. This species rarely shrieks or screams like others of its kind. Instead, it speaks in mellow whistles and warbling calls, gentle rolling notes that echo softly above the forest floor. A whisperer, not a shouter. Feeding mostly on figs, seeds, and blossoms, it clambers among branches using its beak and zygodactyl feet. It cracks seeds with ease, its powerful bill acting as both hand and hammer in the treetop feast. During nesting season, pairs seek out cavities high in tree trunks. Inside these hollowed homes, they raise their young in the cradle of the canopy, sheltered from predators and storm. A shape lifts from the green and slips into silence, outlined by a flick of red behind the cheek. It's not spectacle, but presence. A reminder that not all beauty shouts. Some simply breathe within the trees. Black vulture, Coragyps atratus. Gliding in wide circles against a pale morning sky, the black vulture rides thermals like a phantom stitched from shadow. Its name, Coragyps atratus, means raven vulture clad in mourning, a fitting title for a bird cloaked in midnight feathers, entrusted with the quiet labor of death and renewal. Common across much of Costa Rica, it soars over open landscapes, town outskirts, and forest clearings alike. From garbage dumps to coastal estuaries, this species adapts with uncanny ease, watching the world below with sharp, unblinking eyes. Roughly 25 inches long with a wingspan reaching 5 feet, the black vulture is striking not in color, but in form. Jet black plumage covers its body, while its bare, wrinkled head and hooked beak reflect a life designed for scavenging. Its wings flash silvery wingtips as it banks in flight, a subtle signature etched against the clouds. Unlike its cousin, the turkey vulture, this species relies more on vision than scent. With a keen eye for motion and movement, it often gathers in groups, descending like a slow storm to clear what's left behind. Bold and efficient, it doesn't wait, often arriving first, with a confidence that borders on regal. Feeding on carrion, it plays an essential ecological role, preventing disease and recycling nutrients. Though its meals are grim, its work is sacred, cleaning the land so life may begin again. When it breeds, the black vulture skips the nest entirely. Eggs are laid on bare ground in sheltered places, caves, hollow logs, or even abandoned buildings. Both parents stay close, fiercely guarding their young until they're ready to take to the wind. A shape drifts across the sun, wings stiff, head down. Below, the forest pulses with life. Above, a silent watcher ensures the balance remains. Boat-billed heron, Cochlearius cochlearius. When twilight drapes the wetlands in silver and frogs begin to call, a shadow stirs beneath the mangroves. With solemn poise and a beak like no other, the boat-billed heron, Cochlearius cochlearius, emerges. Its name, drawn from Latin, reflects the oddity it wears proudly. A bill shaped like the hull of an ancient boat, wide, flat, and built for stillness. Native to lowland waterways across Costa Rica, it thrives in quiet backwaters, coastal lagoons, and swamps thick with roots and reflection. During the day, it disappears into leafy shelters, motionless, undetected. Only as dusk falls does it become a creature of purpose. Measuring around 20 inches tall and weighing just under 2 pounds, it wears smoky gray on its wings, creamy white beneath, and a black cap atop its head, like a monk in meditation. But the marvel lies in its bill, oversized, scooped, almost comical, yet finely tuned for the job it performs in the dark. Nocturnal by nature, it hunts with patience, moving slowly along shallow water. That peculiar bill allows it to detect vibrations, snapping shut on fish, crustaceans, and insects with surprising speed. Each strike is deliberate, a ghost's whisper on the water's surface. For nesting, the heron builds stick platforms high in tangled branches, usually in colonies where soft croaks echo through the night. The female lays 2 to 4 eggs, both parents sharing duties in gentle coordination. Through the curtain of dusk, it steps forward, measured, elegant, unlike anything else on the marsh. The boat-billed heron doesn't seek attention. It waits, listens, and lets the silence do the talking. A quiet icon where moonlight and water meet. White-whiskered puffbird, Malacoptila panamensis. At the meeting point of light and leaf, where vines drape like curtains over forest clearings, a stout figure perches motionless, as if carved from the branch itself. This is the white-whiskered puffbird, Malacoptila panamensis, a name that hints at softness, malacos, and feathers, batilon, yet cloaks a creature of precision and patience. It inhabits humid lowland forests on Costa Rica's Caribbean slope, favoring forest edges and dense secondary growth where insects abound. Shunning the canopy, it prefers the tangled middle layers, dim corridors rich with quiet and cover. Measuring about 7.5 inches long and weighing just over 1.5 ounces, the bird is compact and unassuming. Its plumage blends into bark and leaf, warm browns, streaked chest, a pale belly. But the highlight lies in its face, white whisker-like plumes fanning from its beak as if wearing a finely brushed mustache. It hunts not with speed but stillness. Perched in silence, it waits for prey, beetles, spiders, small lizards, to come within reach. Then, in a sudden burst, it lunges with uncanny accuracy, snapping its target from the air or leaf in one swift motion. Between strikes, it returns to its perch, statuesque and unreadable. For nesting, it tunnels into earthen banks or soft hillsides, carving narrow burrows up to 2 feet long. Inside, it lays 2 or 3 eggs in the darkness, a quiet refuge sealed from the bustle of the outer forest. Through the undergrowth, a pair of dark eyes gleam from a low branch, curious, steady, still. The white-whiskered puffbird doesn't sing loudly or dazzle with color. Its power is presence. In the quiet zones of the forest, it is both sentinel and shadow. Rufous-vented ground cuckoo, Neomorphus geoffroyi. Beneath the dense understory of Costa Rica's lowland jungles, where light scarcely reaches and the ground pulses with insect life, a figure glides through the gloom like a whisper on 2 legs. This is the rufous-vented ground cuckoo, Neomorphus geoffroyi, a terrestrial enigma named for its rich rufous belly, and the French naturalist Étienne Geoffroy Saint-Hilaire. It inhabits mature rainforests along the Caribbean slope, moving low and swift, rarely venturing into view. Rather than fly, it walks, purposeful and poised, hugging the earth like a forest spirit with feathers. Its presence is so fleeting that even seasoned birdwatchers call it a prize sighting. About 19 inches in length and weighing around 1 pound, it bears an elegant silhouette. Iridescent bronze-green back, deep purplish crest, and that striking rufous vent, flaring like an ember at the base of its tail. Its long legs, pale bill, and penetrating gaze give it the air of a scout on eternal patrol. One of the most extraordinary behaviors of this species is its alliance with army ants. As swarms churn through the forest floor, flushing insects and small vertebrates in their path, the cuckoo follows closely behind, seizing fleeing prey in deft lunges. In these moments, it becomes both opportunist and shadow, moving with the ant tide in perfect rhythm. For breeding, it seeks out dense vegetation and tangles of vines to hide its nest, a loosely built structure of twigs where it lays 1 or 2 eggs. Both parents participate in raising the chick, keeping their movements secretive, their calls low. A flash of bronze passes between roots, silent yet electric. Then it's gone, leaving only the ripple of ants and the rustle of leaves. In the deep forest, few birds are as mysterious or as mesmerizing as the rufous-vented ground cuckoo. Acorn Woodpecker, Melanerpes formicivorus. In Costa Rica's oak-covered highlands, where cloud mist drifts like breath through the canopy, a sharp, laughing call rings out. Perched boldly on tree trunks and utility poles alike is the acorn woodpecker, Melanerpes formicivorus, a bird as quirky as it is ingenious. Its scientific name, translating to ant-eating black creeper, only hints at the complex life behind its clown-like face. This species resides in montane forests above 4,000 feet, particularly where oaks dominate the skyline. It favors open woodlands, pasture edges, and even rural towns, anywhere trees can bear witness to its industrious rituals. About 8 inches long and weighing around 3 ounces, the acorn woodpecker sports a striking outfit: glossy black body, white face, bright red crown, and wild, pale eyes that seem to bulge with curiosity. It looks perpetually surprised, but it's one of the sharpest planners in the avian world. Its claim to fame? Storing acorns. As a community, these birds drill thousands of holes into dead trees, fence posts, and even wooden buildings, creating vast granaries packed with acorns wedged in tight. They'll guard these stashes fiercely, defending them from squirrels, other birds, and even rival woodpecker clans. While insects, fruits, and sap supplement their diet, the acorns serve as winter insurance. With an almost obsessive rhythm, each bird taps, hammers, and checks its cache, adjusting acorns as they shrink with age. It's survival as choreography. Breeding is cooperative, often involving multiple males and females nesting in the same cavity and raising young together. This extended family structure strengthens the group and ensures the granary remains full and guarded. A blur of black and red zips across the treetops, then vanishes behind the bark. Minutes later, the sound of tapping resumes, echoing like a heartbeat through the forest. Here, in these misty woods, architecture meets instinct, one acorn at a time. Green kingfisher, Chlorocerile americana. Where clear streams coil through Costa Rica's lowland forests, a tiny hunter waits, still as stone. Then, in a blink, it vanishes into the water, leaving only a splash and a silver flash. This is the green kingfisher, Chlorocerile americana, a jewel-toned predator whose name means green wax feather of the Americas. Common along slow-moving rivers, lagoons, and mangrove-lined creeks, this kingfisher thrives where fish are plentiful and cover is close. It favors shaded perches just above the surface, branches, roots, or reeds, offering a perfect launch pad for its silent strikes. At only 7.5 inches long and weighing less than an ounce, it's among the smallest kingfishers in the Americas. The male gleams with forest green plumage and a rich chestnut breastband, while the female wears twin bands of green and white across her chest. Both glimmer with a metallic sheen, like leaves kissed by morning rain. Unlike herons or egrets that stalk their prey, this bird hunts with suddenness. It scans from above, then dives headfirst into the water with pinpoint precision, rising moments later with a wriggling minnow clamped in its dagger-like bill. Swallowed whole, the catch fuels its high-energy lifestyle. Nesting begins with excavation. The pair digs a narrow tunnel into a muddy riverbank, sometimes extending more than 2 feet deep. At the end lies a small chamber, where eggs are laid directly on bare earth. It's a chamber of shadows, protected by depth and camouflage. A blur of green streaks down the river's edge, vanishing into reflection. The stream flows on, disturbed only for a moment, but somewhere along its winding course, the kingfisher returns, quiet, swift, and always watching. Common black hawk, Buteogallus anthracinus. Above the tangled rivers and brackish mangroves of Costa Rica's Pacific coast, a dark silhouette surveys the water below. Silent, steady, and poised for the plunge, the common black hawk, Buteogallus anthracinus, rules the wetlands with the gaze of a sentinel. Its name evokes coal dark plumage and power in flight, well suited to this shadowed sovereign. This raptor frequents coastal estuaries, forested rivers, and inland swamps where fish, crabs, and amphibians stir beneath the surface. Rarely found far from water, it glides along the edges of lagoons and sits atop twisted branches, waiting for movement below. Measuring around 20 inches in length with a wingspan stretching nearly 4 feet, it wears a cloak of soot-black feathers trimmed with broad white bands on its tail. A piercing yellow cere and legs stand out like flashes of warning. Its heavy bill and strong talons leave little doubt. It's a hunter built for gripping, tearing, and lifting. What sets this hawk apart is its taste for crabs. With sharp eyesight tuned to ripples and rustles, it swoops down to snatch crustaceans from mudflats and riverbanks, often carrying them to a perch before expertly dismantling them. It may even follow fishermen, drawn to discarded bycatch or flopping prey. Nests are constructed high in tall trees near water, crafted from sticks and lined with green leaves. Both parents share duties, incubating eggs, guarding chicks, and delivering fresh kills to the nest with careful precision. A winged form glides low over the marsh, trailing silence and shadow in its wake. Below, the swamp teems with hidden life. Above, the black hawk watches, patient, precise, and ever ready to strike. Wilson's plover, Charadrius wilsonia. At the boundary where land dissolves into sea, a small figure darts between shells and shadows. Quick-footed and wide-eyed, the Wilson's plover, Charadrius wilsonia, is a coastal wanderer named in honor of American ornithologist Alexander Wilson. Though modest in plumage, it carries the wildness of the tide in every step. Along Costa Rica's Pacific and Caribbean beaches, this plover haunts open sand flats, tidal inlets, and salt lagoons. Favoring quiet stretches of shoreline, it thrives in places where waves meet wind and tracks vanish moments after they're made. Just 7.5 inches in length, this bird wears sandy tones across its back, a clean white belly, and a bold, dark breast band like a simple sash. Its stout black bill, short, strong, slightly curved, is perfectly shaped for a specialized hunt. Rather than probe or dig, it scans the wet sand, then rushes forward to seize crabs, marine worms, and insects in swift, decisive strikes. Each movement is a calculation: stop, scan, sprint, snatch. Its feeding rhythm echoes the surf itself, steady, rhythmic, unrelenting. Nesting begins with the barest of preparations. A shallow scrape in the sand, sparsely lined with shells or pebbles, becomes home to a clutch of mottled eggs. Vulnerable to heat and predators, both parents remain vigilant, feigning injury to lure threats away, or silently shielding the nest with their bodies. A flash of motion catches the morning light, a blur of legs and wings against the shimmer of sea. The Wilson's plover leaves no song, only footprints that fade with the tide, and a life that dances always at the edge of water. Yellowbuild Cotinga, Carpodectes antonii. Where rainforest meets estuary, and salt air drifts through green canopies, a pale figure perches in silence. Nearly translucent against the morning mist, the Yellowbuild Cotinga, Carpodectes antonii, seems conjured from cloud and sunlight. Its name honors Antonia, a woman immortalized in Latin, and its lemon-hued bill glows like a beacon amid the foliage. This rare species is found only in the mangrove-fringed lowlands of Costa Rica's southern Pacific coast, especially near the Golfo Dulce. It favors estuarine forests and nearby lowland rainforests, relying on a delicate blend of salt and shade that's vanishing year by year. Measuring about 8 inches in length and weighing just under 2 ounces, the male is ethereal. Brilliant white from crown to tail, punctuated only by its vivid yellow beak. The female is softer, cloaked in olive and gray, better suited for secrecy. In flight, the male glows like drifting ash beneath the canopy. Shy by nature, it feeds on fruits and berries plucked from high branches. Rather than forage busily, it moves deliberately, hopping from perch to perch with quiet grace, swallowing one fruit at a time, often high above the forest floor and just beyond reach of a clear view. Breeding remains largely mysterious, but nests have been found tucked within mangroves. The female constructs a simple platform of twigs where 1 or 2 eggs rest in fragile stillness, guarded by green walls and silence. A white silhouette flickers across a river mouth, then settles among leaves, barely visible in the filtered light. The Yellowbuild Cotinga doesn't announce itself. It simply exists, an echo of purity in a forest wrapped in green and gold. Talamanca Hummingbird, Eugenes spectabilis. High above the clouds where the air grows thin and orchids cling to mossy limbs, a jewel flickers through the mist. The Talamanca Hummingbird, Eugenes spectabilis, lives up to its name, which means remarkable or spectacular. True to form, it sets the cloud forest aglow with every beat of its shimmering wings. Endemic to the lofty peaks of Costa Rica's Talamanca Range, this hummingbird thrives between 6,500 and 10,000 feet. It flits among bromeliads and flowering shrubs, favoring elfin forests and paramo edges where few birds dare linger. In this crisp, ethereal world, it reigns as a glittering sentinel of the heights. Stretching around 5.5 inches from bill to tail, the male dazzles with an iridescent green throat, a brilliant blue crown, and dark velvet flanks. Sunlight dances across his plumage like light scattered through stained glass. The female, more subdued, wears green and gray tones that melt into the fog-draped foliage. Fiercely territorial, he defends patches of nectar-rich blooms with buzzing aerial displays and sharp, needled dives. His diet is a constant ballet, darting from flower to flower, tongue unfurling to drink the sugar-rich lifeblood of the mountains. Nesting begins with moss and spider silk, carefully woven into cups cradled on slender branches. The female alone tends the clutch, usually 2 eggs, warming them through biting winds and drizzling cloud banks. In a realm ruled by silence and sky, the Talamanca hummingbird is a flash of flame in the fog, a highland spirit flickering between raindrops and rays of gold. Collared redstart, Myoborus torquatus. Perched like a spark on a moss-laced branch, the collared redstart, Myoborus torquatus, is a beacon in the cloud forests of Costa Rica. Its name speaks of its bold attire, a flaming golden face wrapped in a crisp black collar that slices across its neck like an elegant scarf. And though it is often called the amigo de hombre or friend of man, there's nothing ordinary about its presence. This endearing warbler claims the mist-veiled slopes of the Talamanca Mountains and neighboring highlands, thriving above 6,000 feet. Here, in the cool hush of oak and bamboo thickets, it flutters through filtered sunlight, its yellow breast and rusty tail flickering like a candle in the shadows. Measuring about 5.5 inches long and weighing less than half an ounce, it may be small, but its charisma fills the forest. With its jerky, tail-wagging dance and insatiable curiosity, the collared redstart often joins mixed-species flocks, weaving in and out of view as it flushes insects from undergrowth. It doesn't hunt with stealth. It hunts with showmanship. Constant tail-flicking fans out bright plumage that startles prey into flight, allowing the bird to snatch mid-air morsels in acrobatic swoops. Spiders, beetles, and caterpillars make up its woodland feast. For nesting, the female sculpts a mossy dome, tucked safely on or near the forest floor. She lays 2 to 3 eggs and guards them with quiet tenacity, hidden from prying eyes by a veil of fog and ferns. In the green cathedral of the highlands, the collared redstart is a flicker of joy, cheerful, luminous, and unafraid to dance through the drizzle like a tiny flame come to life. Purple-throated Mountain Gem, Lampornis calolaemus. In the emerald tapestry of Costa Rica's highland forests, a radiant spark flits through the shadows. Lampornis calolaemus, the purple-throated mountain gem. Its name evokes nobility, and rightly so. This hummingbird wears a regal gorget of shimmering violet, set like an amethyst in a jacket of iridescent greens and deep bronze. This avian gem favors the cool elevations of the Talamanca and central volcanic mountain ranges, dancing through the mist-draped canopies between 4,000 to 8,000 feet. Males often perch boldly on open branches, their gleaming throats catching fractured light like a living gemstone amid the fog. Measuring just under 4.3 inches long and weighing around 0.15 ounces, it is a creature of dainty scale, yet dazzling presence. Males flash their purple brilliance to defend nectar-rich territories, while females, dressed in softer greens and whites, tend to hover quietly among bromeliads and wildflowers. The mountain gem feeds with surgical precision. Hovering before tubular blooms like a helicopter before landing, it sips nectar from plants like salvias, while also nabbing gnats and tiny spiders mid-air, an aerial acrobat cloaked in glimmer. Nesting occurs during the rainy season. The female alone builds a delicate cup from moss and spider silk, often nestled low in sheltered tangles. She incubates her eggs with patient stillness, her nest nearly vanishing into the forest green. In the hush of cloud-wrapped slopes, the purple-throated mountain gem glows like a drop of royal fire, fleeting, silent, and utterly unforgettable, a flash of color where the sky kisses the mountains. Montezuma Orapendola, Cercoleus montezuma. In the heart of Costa Rica's lowland rainforests, where the canopy towers like ancient cathedrals, a voice booms out, a surreal, gurgling symphony that echoes through tangled vines and emerald foliage. It is not the call of a howler monkey, nor the roar of a distant waterfall, but the theatrical serenade of the Montezuma Orapendola. Named in homage to the Aztec emperor, Cercoleus montezuma ranges from the Caribbean slopes of Costa Rica down through Panama. It favors tall forests and forest edges, especially where fig trees flourish and fruit hangs heavy. These birds bring drama and color to the treetops, turning even the calmest groves into musical stages. Stretching nearly 20 inches in length and weighing up to 1.2 pounds, this Orapendola commands attention. Its plumage is a rich chocolate-brown cloak, set off by a brilliant golden tail that glows like sunlight caught in a gust. A patch of blue skin surrounds its piercing eyes, while the long dagger-like bill fades from burnt orange to black, an artist's flourish at the end of a vibrant brushstroke. Among the most social of forest dwellers, Montezuma Orapendolas live in colonies and construct extraordinary hanging nests, woven baskets that sway like pendulums from high branches, often dozens in a single tree. These intricate cradles, crafted by females, can reach up to 3 feet long and serve as nurseries high above ground-bound predators. Feeding on fruit, nectar, and insects, they forage with finesse, leaping between branches or descending in swooping arcs. But it's their haunting, bubbling call, accompanied by a dramatic backward swing of the body, that defines their presence, like jungle troubadours announcing the dawn. The Montezuma Orapendola is more than a bird. It is music in motion, gold against green, a living pulse in the rhythm of Costa Rica's forests. Whitethroated Mountain Gem, Lampornis castanea-ventris. Tucked within the mist-draped highlands of Costa Rica, where orchids bloom on moss-laden branches and the air hums with life, a tiny guardian of color zips through shafts of light. Meet the white-throated mountain gem, a name that barely does justice to this dazzling fragment of avian art. Endemic to the Talamanca range, this hummingbird thrives in cool montane cloud forests between 5,000 and 9,000 feet. It's a realm of perpetual drizzle and filtered sunlight, where every leaf glistens and silence is broken only by the whisper of wings. Within this enchanted space, the Lampornis castanea-ventris dances among bromeliads and wildflowers. Measuring about 4.3 inches long and weighing less than 0.2 ounces, the male is an iridescent marvel. His emerald green crown and back shimmer like morning dew, while the throat gleams white beneath a luminous turquoise collar. A patch of chestnut flares across the belly, contrasting with smoky gray sides, and the straight, needle-like bill is perfectly sculpted for sipping nectar with precision. He is more than beauty. He's a territorial sentinel. Males fiercely defend flowering shrubs, engaging in aerial duels to guard their sugary treasure. With wings beating nearly 50 times per second, their flight is both fierce and balletic, as they hover, dart, and spiral through narrow forest corridors. Feeding mainly on nectar from tubular blooms, the white-throated mountain gem also consumes small insects for protein. During nesting, the female alone constructs a moss-covered cup nest hidden among low branches, laying 2 pearl-like eggs that incubate beneath her care. In this realm of mist and mystery, the white-throated mountain gem glows like a drop of living emerald, fleeting, fierce, and unforgettable. ChestnutHeaded Oraendola, Psaracolius wagleri. Beneath the emerald ceiling of Costa Rica's Caribbean lowlands, a chorus begins, low, gurgling notes that seem to spill like honey through the understory. Perched high in a towering tree, the ChestnutHeaded Oraendola makes its entrance, not just with voice, but with a flourish of bronze and black, its chestnut crown catching the morning sun like polished mahogany. Widespread across humid forests from sea level to about 2,300 feet, this Oraendola is no solitary drifter. It belongs to colonies that resemble leafy cities, clusters of pendulous, sock-like nests swinging from the tallest branches. Here, in the canopy's highest chambers, courtship and song unfold in synchronized display, where gravity-defying boughs accompany bubbling trills that seem pulled from the forest floor itself. At nearly 18 inches in length, it's a sizable bird, though often more heard than seen. Its plumage is a study in contrast, velvety black body, golden tail plumes, and a chestnut head so rich in tone it feels almost painted. The long, pale yellow beak curves slightly downward, as if sculpted for both precision and flair. The male's courtship is an act of theater. He leans forward, flares his wings, and lets loose a liquid warble that resonates across the treetops. These calls serve not only to attract females but to maintain social harmony within their complex matriarchal colonies. Feeding primarily on fruits, insects, and nectar, they forage with agility, often seen hopping along limbs or hovering briefly to pluck a ripe berry. Their diet, rich in diversity, reflects the abundance of their rainforest home. With their architectural genius, communal lifestyle, and otherworldly songs, the chestnut-headed Oraendolas transform the forest canopy into a stage, a living, breathing opera house of the wild. Resplendent Quetzal, Pharomacris mochino. Cloaked in iridescent green, trailing feathers that flow like ribbons of mist, the resplendent Quetzal drifts silently through the cloud forests of Costa Rica's highlands. Revered by ancient Mesoamerican civilizations as a symbol of freedom and divinity, its name stems from the Nahuatl word quetzali, meaning precious or sacred feather, an apt tribute to its unearthly beauty. Found between 4,000 to 10,000 feet in elevation, particularly in the cloud-kissed canopies of Monteverde and Talamanca, this elusive bird thrives in montane forests shrouded in perpetual mist. Here, it weaves through moss-draped branches and orchids, vanishing into greenery as quickly as it appears, earning its reputation as a spirit of the trees. Measuring around 14 inches from beak to tail in females, and up to 25 inches in males when factoring in their flowing twin tail streamers, the Quetzal is nothing short of a living jewel. Its emerald plumage shifts to gold in sunlight, while the crimson breast seems carved from volcanic rubies. The male's long tail feathers ripple like silk in the breeze, trailing behind in a dance of color and grace. Unlike the raucous cries of tropical parrots, the Quetzal speaks in soft, melodic whistles, delicate notes that echo through the fog like an ancient forest hymn. During the breeding season, pairs work in quiet cooperation, hollowing out nest cavities in decaying trees, where 2 pale blue eggs await the cloud's embrace. Feeding mostly on wild avocados, the Quetzal plays a vital role in seed dispersal. It swallows the fruit whole, later regurgitating the pit far from the parent tree, helping to renew the forest that shelters it. More than a bird, The Resplendent Quetzal is the soul of Costa Rica's highland forests, a fleeting glimpse of magic where sky meets moss and time holds its breath. Scarlet Macaw, Osa Macaw. Where emerald jungles breathe beneath golden light, a flash of scarlet slices the canopy. Bold, brilliant, unmistakable. The Scarlet Macaw, whose name hails from its blazing plumage and echoing cries, reigns as one of Costa Rica's most iconic and dazzling birds. Rooted in ancient mythologies, this radiant parrot has long been seen as a messenger between the earthly and the divine. Stretching along the Pacific lowlands, particularly within the forests of Corcovado and Carrara, this macaw finds sanctuary among cebas and palms. These vibrant strongholds offer both food and towering perches from which its cries reverberate like jungle thunder. Though once driven near local extinction, conservation efforts now safeguard its rightful place in the Costa Rican sky. Measuring up to 33 inches in length and weighing around 2 pounds, the Scarlet Macaw is a masterpiece in motion. Crimson feathers blanket its body, offset by sun-yellow wings and cobalt-tipped tail plumes. When in flight, it seems to carry a piece of the rainbow across treetops, a firework set free. Social by nature, these macaws form lifelong pair bonds, often seen flying in synchronized duets or preening each other high in the canopy. Their voices, a medley of screeches and squawks, act as beacons across vast jungle expanses, a soundscape woven into the very fabric of the rainforest. Feeding on seeds, fruits, and nuts, particularly wild almonds, they use their powerful beaks like nutcrackers, expertly cracking through tough shells. As seed dispersers, they help sculpt the future of the very forests they call home. To witness a Scarlet Macaw in flight is to see the jungle exhale a blaze of color, raw, untamed, and endlessly alive. Keel-billed Toucan, Ramphastos sulphuratus. In the lush orchestras of Costa Rica's rainforests, where sunlight dances through dripping leaves and howler monkeys echo in the distance, a surreal shape emerges from the canopy, its bill painted like a carnival float. This is the Keel-billed Toucan, a creature whose name evokes the vivid arc of its enormous, serrated beak, tipped with brilliance and curiosity. Favoring humid lowland forests and tropical edges from sea level to about 6,200 feet, the Keel-billed Toucan weaves through tangled greenery from the Osa Peninsula to the Caribbean slope. It prefers the realm between sky and leaf, where branches tangle into cloud-laced corridors, its playground and refuge. Though its technicolor beak may appear cumbersome, this toucan measures just 17 to 22 inches in length and weighs under a pound. The enormous bill, green, orange, red, and tinged with blue, composes nearly 1/3 of its length, yet remains astonishingly light, made of keratin and honeycombed bone. Glossy black plumage cloaks its body, while a lemon-yellow bib brightens its throat like a splash of sunlight on velvet. Playful and gregarious, these birds move in loose flocks, hopping awkwardly through branches and tossing fruit from bill to bill like juggling clowns of the forest. Their frog-like croaks, comically unbird-like, resonate eerily through the trees, making them more often heard before seen. Frugivorous by nature, they feast on berries, papayas, and figs, but occasionally add insects, lizards, and even eggs to their eclectic palate. Their strong beaks reach fruit on distant limbs, playing a quiet role in dispersing seeds across the jungle. When dusk settles over the rainforest, toucans retire to hollow trees, folding their long bills back over their shoulders like umbrellas, curling into tight, cartoonish balls. In the rich theater of Costa Rica's forests, the Keel-billed Toucan is not merely a character. It is the color in motion, the laugh in the leaves, the carnival in the canopy. Great Kiskadee, Pitangus sulphuratus. Dawn breaks over Costa Rica, and before the mist lifts from the treetops, a bold cry slices through the air. Kiskadee! a name echoed by the bird itself, as if it wrote its identity in sound. This is the great Kiskadee, an audacious soul with the confidence of a rooster and the flair of a street performer. Found across both coasts, in forest edges, gardens, and even city parks, the great Kiskadee thrives in human company as much as in wild thickets. From lowlands to elevations near 5,000 feet, it claims a wide kingdom where wires, fences, and rivers become perches for watchful eyes. Roughly 8.5 to 10 inches long and weighing about 2 ounces, the Kiskadee sports a bright yellow belly, rusty wings, and a crisp black and white head pattern. But its crowning jewel is a hidden crown of flame orange, rarely seen, but blazing like a hidden ember when flared in aggression or courtship. This bird is a born dramatist, perching conspicuously, calling loudly, and often diving into mid-air squabbles. It feeds with equal boldness, snatching insects mid-flight, plucking berries, or dipping for small fish like a pint-sized kingfisher. Its menu is eclectic, and its methods ingenious. During breeding season, the Kiskadee weaves large, dome-shaped nests in trees or on man-made structures, fiercely defending them against all intruders, hawks, snakes, or curious humans. Both parents take turns feeding the chicks, and their calls fill the skies like living percussion in the tropical orchestra. In Costa Rica's vibrant birdscape, the great Kiskadee is not content to blend in. It proclaims, performs, and persists, a feathered firebrand that turns every sunrise into a stage. Black-striped sparrow, Areminops conerostris. Tucked beneath the emerald canopy, and flitting like a secret among tangled vines, the black-striped sparrow is a quiet resident of Costa Rica's lowland forests and shaded thickets. Its name, etched by the bold ink of its head stripes, tells a story of subtlety, precision, and survival in the understory's hush. From the Caribbean foothills to the Pacific slopes, this sparrow favors dense, weedy borders and forest edges, especially where sunlight meets shadow. Unlike its more flamboyant neighbors, it avoids the spotlight, finding beauty not in spectacle but in stillness, like a poet who speaks in whispers. Measuring about 6 inches in length and weighing around 0.9 ounces, the black-striped sparrow is a blend of olive green, gray, and black. Its most defining feature, 2 striking black lines that bracket its pale face like quiet punctuation marks. A thick, conical beak suggests its fondness for seeds, yet this bird's movements are more mouse-like than avian. Hopping low, tail flicking, always alert. Though discreet in behavior, its voice is a standout. A soft, sweet song that rises like mist at dawn, wrapping the forest floor in sound as gentle as a lullaby. It often sings alone, perched just above the leaf litter, where few would notice it, but the forest listens. When breeding, it crafts a cup-shaped nest close to the ground, tucked beneath shrubs or grass clumps. Here, the female incubates in quiet seclusion, while the male stands sentinel, blending into the foliage like a guardian spirit of the green. In a world dazzled by plumage and power, the black-striped sparrow reminds us that elegance can dwell in the shadows, and that sometimes the softest voices echo the longest. Little Tinamou, Crypturellus sui. In the tangled green maze of Costa Rica's lowland jungles, where roots twist like serpents and moss clings to every trunk, a subtle presence stirs the forest floor. This is the realm of the little Tinamou, Crypturellus sui, a creature named from Latin roots suggesting a hidden tale, though in truth its whole being seems cloaked in mystery. Found throughout the Caribbean slope and southern Pacific lowlands, the little Tinamou thrives in humid thickets, far from human paths. Shunning open space, it traces narrow corridors between ferns and vines, vanishing like a whisper into the foliage with each cautious step. Compact and understated, it measures just under 10 inches and weighs less than a pound. Cloaked in dusky olive and ash-brown feathers, it wears the forest like camouflage. With a stout body, small head and short tail, its silhouette resembles a plump leaf drifting through shade. Its call, a haunting flute-like whistle, weaves through the morning fog and evening hush. Rarely seen in flight, it prefers to walk, foraging for fruits, seeds, and insects scattered across the leaf litter, moving with a rhythmic head bob, part ceremony, part caution. In an avian twist, it is the male who broods over the nest. After the female lays her eggs, he alone tends the clutch, often nesting beneath thick brush, nearly invisible to predators. The little tinamou may lack brilliance in color, but its ghost-like grace and role as a forest sentinel grant it a quiet beauty, rooted not in flash, but in secrecy. Little blue heron, Egretta caerulea. Where Costa Rica's wetlands melt into quiet lagoons and shadowed mangroves, a solitary figure glides, cloaked in twilight blue, poised like a painting come alive. This is the little blue heron, Egretta caerulea, a name that whispers its elegance. Caerulea speaks to its rich blue tones, a hue more moonlit ocean than sky. It inhabits lowland swamps, marshes, and tidal estuaries stretching from the Pacific coast to Caribbean inlets. Unlike its flashier cousins, the little blue heron prefers calm, its world one of gentle ripples and muted colors. Here, in the hush of still waters, it becomes almost spectral. Standing just over 2 feet tall with a wingspan near 3 feet, it carries itself with ethereal grace. Sleek slate blue feathers cover its slender frame, while its head and neck wear a subtle purplish veil. During the breeding season, delicate plumes flow like silk from its nape, fluttering with every breath of wind. This heron is a patient predator, a master of the slow hunt. With a gaze locked onto the mirror-smooth surface, it inches forward in statuesque silence. Then, in a flash, its dagger-like bill spears a fish or frog. There's poetry in its precision. No splash, no waste, just quiet triumph. Juveniles begin life clad in white, gradually shifting through patchy gray until they don their adult robes of blue. Nesting communally in trees above wetlands, pairs raise chicks in the safety of height, far from the jaws of lurking caimans. In Costa Rica's chorus of color and motion, the little blue heron is a soft-spoken symphony, an artist of shadows painting beauty in every deliberate step. Black phoebe, Sciornis nigricans. Along the rocky edges of Costa Rica's rivers and waterfalls, a small, dark figure flits like a whisper across stone and stream, the black phoebe. Its scientific name blends Sciornis, for its fly-catching kin, with nigricans, Latin for dusky. Though understated in color, this bird's presence is bold, a study in patience and precision. From mountain foothills to lowland valleys, the black phoebe thrives wherever water runs. You'll find it perched calmly on a rock or branch, tail flicking like a pendulum, as if marking time in nature's quiet orchestra. It favors places where insects buzz freely, for this bird is a masterful aerial hunter. Just over 6 inches long and feather-light, it sports a crisp white belly beneath a charcoal black head and wings, as though dressed in its own tuxedo. But it's not fashion this bird is after. It's the perfect launch pad. With sharp, calculated bursts, it springs into the air, snatches a fly in mid-flight, then circles right back to its perch. Quick, clean, and relentless. Its feeding ballet continues from dawn to dusk, often returning to the same perch over and over. This repetitive rhythm isn't boring. It's beautifully efficient. It wastes nothing, each movement honed by generations of instinct. When breeding season arrives, the black phoebe becomes an architect. It sculpts mud into cup-shaped nests tucked under overhangs or bridges, places protected from rain and wind. There, its eggs are laid and nurtured, and soon a new generation of river guardians takes wing. In a rainforest alive with color and song, the black phoebe offers something quieter, grace in grayscale, elegance in simplicity, and the poetry of presence. From cloud-veiled volcanoes to tangled coastal mangroves, Costa Rica's birds are more than splashes of color on green canvas. They are sky dancers, forest whisperers, and timekeepers of an ancient land that still breathes wild and free. Each call we heard, each wing we followed, was a note in a living symphony. A reminder that beauty isn't rare here. It's alive in every canopy, glade, and morning mist. Thank you for joining BBTV Official on this journey through Costa Rica's feathered realms. If a bird sang to your heart today, let us know in the comments. And if you wish to keep soaring with us, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, may the echoes of Costa Rica's wild chorus travel with you, wherever your path unfolds.